citizens, what a weird term, right? We know what it means. Seniors are people who reach a certain age, usually around 60 or maybe 65. I always appreciated that senior citizens contribute much to building our community, so I thought I would put together an event that provided some information they might find valuable, a little fun, free food, which come on, we all love, and always with an interesting guest speaker. And don't worry, I'm not the interesting guest speaker, I'm just starting things off, but we'll get better from here. When I started this event as a state representative, I was 44 years old and I had no idea what it was like to be what we call a senior citizen. That was a long time ago, and now I do know. Being a senior is actually pretty cool in a lot of ways. Grandkids, for one, much better than children. My wife told me I should change that to say something. Grandkids are more fun than children in many ways. One thing I really like about being this age is the perspective that I have from having seeing the changes that our world has gone through over these many years. I've lived through a lot of what my granddaughters are now being taught in history class. And I guess one thing that really hits me now is how short-sighted we actually are in any given moment of our life. When we were young or even middle-aged, we have no idea what the long game might bring. Only with the perspective of age, notice I said perspective, not wisdom, do we really begin to understand that everything changes. Everything changes. I'm especially interested in the changes our country has gone through during my lifetime in the area of communication, particularly in how we get our news, how we learn what's going on in the world around us. Some of you who've been around long enough might recall that I was the editor of our local newspaper, the Dearborn Press and Guide, for many years before I held public office. I find it amazing and very sad that Dearborn no longer really has its own newspaper. There was a time in my life I thought I would actually retire from the newspaper business. That was well before that. I served 20 years as an elected official, and I always thought there would be a Dearborn Press and Guide. Today there's no such thing. It actually ceased to exist over the past year. I also never thought I would say this, but we have way too much information. I don't think it's been a good thing, and not at all. We get information, I won't necessarily call it news, from the moment we wake up until the time we go to bed. And when we can't sleep, we grab our phone and we get even more. Look at how we got here. Newspapers, where I had my first career, had been around since the late 1600s, I don't remember that, and remained pretty much the only source for news in America for more than 2 centuries. New technology gave us new ways of getting news, and the change in the past 100 years, and particularly in the last 30 years, has been mind-boggling. We started to get news on the radio in the early 1920s, about 100 years ago. Then television came along with the first broadcasts around 1940. Probably none of us remember this. This is a fun fact. Remember Walter Cronkite, the name Walter Cronkite, most trusted man in America, CBS Evening News. Do you know that that program was just 15 minutes long when it started? 15 minutes of the yacht in the national news. In September of 1963, CBS expanded Walter Cronkite to a half hour. A week later, NBC followed suit with the Huntley Brinkley Report. And if you remember any of those names, you are a senior citizen. Just 2 months later, the terrible event of the assassination of President Kennedy resulted in expanded live news coverage on television, and for the first time in nearly 3 centuries, newspapers were no longer the primary source of news for our people. TV had taken over. Okay, good enough. Newspapers still provided the depth in reporting, and we got a half hour of national news on TV, usually connected to a local news program in markets here like Detroit. But then one of the worst possible things happened. You can mark it down. June 1st, 1980, CNN, the cable news network, made its debut. And suddenly we got 24 hours of news each day. Except there isn't enough actual news to fill 24 hours each day. So it became repetitive. And with so much time to fill on the air, they invented panels of experts to talk about the news they had just reported. over and over. This wasn't bad enough. Oh no, one cable TV channel providing information 24 hours a day wasn't enough. In 1996, NBC started MSNBC, and then Fox News Channel was founded the same year. Think about that. Just 30 years ago, there was no Fox News Channel, there was no MSNBC, which is now MS Now. I mentioned that 24-hour news was one of the worst possible things. The absolute worst, period, possible, period, thing, period, started a little more than 20 years ago, and you know what I mean. Social media, which is neither social nor media. Facebook started in 2004. We know the rest of the story. Today, around 70% of adults in the United States have a Facebook account. My granddaughters do not. And now we wake up every day and we argue with strangers. And we don't know what information we can trust. So we pick now whatever information we like best. You and I, we have the long-range perspective that I talked about. Sometimes we all need to use it. We need to remember that every item on the news or on our news feed isn't worth losing our minds over. We need to remind ourselves that as crazy as things seem today, they're not necessarily any crazier than at any other time in our lives. I know the world seems upside down now sometimes. It concerns me that anyone who's younger than 30 might actually think that our politics have always been this way. They have not. You think things are crazy today? Does anyone remember the 60s? Yes. Anyone here remember the 60s? This country survived the 60s, for God's sake. The only difference was back then you couldn't wake up, grab your iPad, spend a half hour getting freaked out, another half hour getting pissed off, and the rest of your day arguing with strangers about it. Our greatest attribute, I think, as senior citizens, our superpower, is our long-range vision, our perspective. Let's keep it in mind, share it when we can, and God willing, spend the rest of our time enjoying our lives. Okay, that's the end of my lecture. My wife has no sympathy for me. I told her I broke my arm in 2 places. She told me to stop going to those places. On the way in today, we saw a man and his wife in line for coffee. They were so sweet, they were holding hands the whole time on the line. He poured her coffee, kissed her on the cheek. My wife said, "Why don't you do that?" I said, "Are you kidding? I barely know her." All right, enough about my wife. I'm in trouble enough as it is. Things may seem crazy today, but I love this life. And this country may seem a little upside down sometimes, but the Pledge of Allegiance reminds us we love being Americans. God bless America. We love America. I wouldn't want to be anything but an American. That's why I avoid using public restrooms. You heard me right. If you love being an American, stop using public restrooms. Think about it. When you go into a restroom, you're an American. When you come out, you're an American. When you're in the restroom, European. Oh, great. Bathroom humor. Bathroom humor. Ever wondered why people call a toilet a John? Where'd that come from? Where's your John? Which way to the John? I prefer to call my toilet Jim. That way I can say I went to the gym this morning. Actually, I did not go to the gym this morning. That makes 7 years in a row. I probably should more often. I realize that I'm at an age when it's likely I have more years behind me than ahead of me. At this age, we sometimes think about those things. I asked my doctor, "Do you think I'll live to be 80? He said, "Do you smoke and drink?" Well, not so much anymore. Do you eat steaks, pizza, and heavy desserts? Nah, I try to avoid those things. My wife makes me. Do you gamble, drive fast cars, stay out late at night? Well, I have a phone, so I gamble, but I don't drive fast cars or stay out late at night. I don't do any of those things. The doctor looks at me and says, "Why would you want to live to be 80? The point is, let's all enjoy this life, and this day, and every day. I will admit, I'm not much of a comedian. I tried this routine last week over at the rehab wing at that place that used to be Henry Ford Village. Now it's Allegra Village. When I was leaving the rehab wing after giving them trying out this whole routine on them, I said to one of the patients, "I hope you get better." He He said, I hope you get better too. The person responsible for this event, Sam Baydoun, has been a leader in this community for many years. And when I left the Wayne County Commission at the end of 2018, the good people of this district had elected him to replace me, and he has done an outstanding job on the Wayne County Commission. I'm so glad that he's continuing this event. If you get to know Sam, you really get to know Sam as a person. There's really no one with a bigger heart, no one with better love for this community, nobody more generous than I can imagine to have as a friend and as a Wayne County Commissioner. With that, to really kick off the Senior Citizen Conference, please welcome the sponsor of this conference, Wayne County Commissioner Sam Baydoun.
He's got a great sense of humor, so I'm going to bring him back next year to say a few jokes, but I think next year he will also be our state rep for Dearborn and parts of Dearborn Heights. He decided to step back into the area of public service. Look him up. We need to send him back to Lansing. Ladies and gentlemen, elected officials, distinguished guests, good morning again and welcome to the 24th Annual Senior Conference. I am Sam Baydoun, your Wayne County Commissioner for the great city of Dearborn and Northern Allen Park. It's a pleasure to have you all here today. Now, before we proceed, let us observe a moment of silence to honor and remember all those who have departed in the past year who were regular attendees of this conference. Their presence is deeply missed, and their contributions to our communities will always be cherished. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for each and every one of you for being here today. I also extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guest speakers. Your expertise and dedication to serving seniors have made a significant impact on our community. I also want to thank our amazing sponsors who helped make this event possible. We are truly grateful for their generosity. This event would not have been possible without their support. We appreciate your time and contributions to this conference. I would like to thank Danny Morani from Team Wellness. Thank you, Danny. Dr. Tamam from the Heart and Vascular Institute. Dr. Anisoka from Advanced Dental Clinic. My broker, Century 21, Karim Nobursky. Title I, my good friend Chuck Hodge from Premier Lending, and the rest of our community partners who helped make this happen. I want to acknowledge my predecessor, former Wayne County Commission Chair, Woronchak, for starting this wonderful tradition, and I am committed to continuing this tradition every year. Now, the conference reflects the dedication of so many who care deeply about our seniors. From speakers to volunteers, to each of you, your presence makes a difference. Let us continue building a great community that honors the contributions of every senior citizen. Our seniors deserve a platform to voice their concerns and access the resources they need. And I promise you I will continue to provide the platform as long as I am on the Wayne County Commission. This conference reflects our commitment to serving and supporting everyone in Wayne County, especially our senior residents. We have an exciting program ahead, including engaging sessions, expert speakers, and valuable resources. I encourage you to make the most of these opportunities, engage with fellow attendees and speakers and exhibitors. Once again, I extend my warm welcome to all of you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the program. Now, he's back by popular demand. I would like to introduce everyone's favorite news anchor, Charlie Langton. State University, we will not hold that against him. And Wayne State University Law School. Charlie's background in law makes him your go-to commentator on high-profile court cases. Beyond the newsroom, he's active in the community, participating in charity events and fundraising, recognized with many awards and nominations throughout his career. Please help me welcome Fox 2 News anchor Charlie Langton.
Wow. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, thank you. How is everybody today? I was taking notes, Gary's speech, because he's talking about social media. He's talking about news 24 hours a day, and he's right. That's what we have, 24 hours a day, it's news, 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 news. So, what I was doing is, as I was being introduced, I was recording this because at some point today, I'm going to put it on social media, on Instagram. Why not, you know? So that's what we do now. And I'll tell you, I don't know why, I just became, so I think I'm an official senior, 65, is that the age? So this January, I became an official senior citizen. So, what's he talking about living life? I'm working more now than I've ever been. Oh my gosh. Living, I don't know what that means. So anyway, thank you. I'm Charlie Langton. I'm WWJ Radio in the morning, and then I get out of there and I go over to Fox 2 News, and so I'll do reporting on WWJ, and then Fox 2. Now I'm doing a 4 o'clock, a streaming, that's social media kind of thing, it's new, streaming. And, which is, they tell me that young people like to stream. So who's got a phone? You've got a phone, you got a phone. And so you can go on the Fox 2 right now, and you push the Fox 2 button, Fox 2 local, and then it will be the stream. Now, for also be on the stream, but we end I think 1 o'clock. So from 1 to 4, no, 1 to 5, there's the stream. And so that's what a lot of people are watching. So you can get news all the time, 24 hours a day. You can get it. And that's what we're doing now. So a lot of people are doing that. And that's not just channel Fox 2, 4 and 7 and CBS, and all of them are doing it. Networks doing it too. In fact, we have networks, oh my gosh, we have network from Fox Network that's doing streaming. And then again, if there's a press conference or something, we'll put that on the stream, the whole thing. So, and then you can archive this stuff. And then you can go back, if you wanted to hear what something happened at 9 o'clock, you can rewind it and do that. All of it, and it's all probably within the last, I don't know, couple of years or so, but now it's being really intense. So they want me to do a show at 4, so I'm doing it from 4 to 5, and then lately I've been anchoring 6 Fox News, which I'll be doing tonight, which is a little bit different. So I kind of like the anchoring, a little bit different than it was on the weekends. Still on the weekends now, but we may make a little change. We'll see. Weekend is a little fun show. We get to eat. We get to maybe drink a little. A wine, yes. Oh, you've seen the show. That's good. All right, a lot of wine, okay? Wine. You have to live life. That's what he said, right? Okay. But I may go off the week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm working 7 days a week, so I've got to start to enjoy a little bit and get back just a little bit. So, any questions? Just ask questions, because what do you want to know about news now, not in the 60s, but whatever. But whatever you want to know, anything, if anybody has any questions, just raise your hand for the whole time. So this morning, my assignment for radio, which I report, I go out, I was in Detroit, and they're starting to build for the Grand Prix. Grand Prix will be a big event, but they're starting to build the high-risers, the pit views for the special seats, and then they're putting the barricades on the Atwater, St. Antoine Street, around the Renset near Jefferson. So that's starting May 29th, the end of this month. It's really fun. The Grand Prix kind of fun. 1 year ago, I took the radio car, and I didn't really know where the track started. It just went on the track. It was great. They kind of let me. Anyways, I did that story, and then today the People Mover reopened. People Mover had been closed in March. They had a big windstorm, and it blew the People Mover apart, and they had to repair it, and it just opened today. So not a heavy news day, but not too bad. You have a question?
When bad news breaks, does it still affect you?
Well, in a good way, yeah, let's have some news. What's bad news? Bad news, so, I was on a story the other day, there was a raid going on in Lathrop Village. And again, on those raids, those police raids, sometimes we can call some of the neighbors and say there's a bunch of cops in front of our neighbor's house, and they're going in there, they're taking things, they're taking guns, they're taking something, they're taking him. And so that could be bad. The worst is the barricaded gunmen, because those are hard. Those are hard to cover. But again, we get the reports that we heard fire, we heard shots, we call our newsrooms, and you gotta go there. And we don't know yet what's going on. Cops don't know what's going on. So, and then you gotta kind of assess the situation. How close do you really want to get? And so that part does affect you a little bit. And I've learned over the years on these situations, shootings, is it a drug shooting? Those are not bad. Because it's business for many people, and the families don't come. Now, if it's a love triangle, if it's a drive-by, they're the worst, I think. Drive-by shootings, especially if a kid is hurt or killed, those are bad. Because then the families come, and they all know who did it. And sometimes they talk to the cops, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they talk to us, and sometimes they hate us. And you gotta assess the situation. So it affects me in a way that I told many police, cops, I respect more police and firefighters too. Some of them burning buildings are tough too. But I'll never cross your line. I'll never cross the line. If the yellow line's there, I'll go right up to it. Maybe look over a little bit, but I'm not crossing it. And that's why the barricaded gun, sometimes it's called a perimeter, because they want, the guy's got a gun, whatever, so they're a little bit dangerous. But I respect it, and it affects me that way. Yes, question?
What's the latest status on the Gordie Howe Bridge? And is the Maroon family still trying to delay its opening by giving a large donation to President Trump?
What news do you watch? Oh, maybe my station, my national station. So the Gordie Howe Bridge, I was there not too long ago. I think it's ready to go. And the Canadians I talked to say it is ready to go, but we're not opening it up. The short answer is, I don't really know. I know there's a sinister political deal. The Maroons want to keep it open. I've heard that report. I don't know that that's true. The Maroons are, they have a business interest too, I guess. Will it conflict with their business? I don't know, maybe. I think there are some political issues that are keeping the bridge from open. My understanding, it's supposed to be this summer, but I don't know that for sure. But we've been talking about the Gordie Howe Bridge, and there's a lot of stories on that. It's a great story. The whole Delray neighborhood of Detroit, which over the years was pretty bad. Well, now a lot of the homes have been taken away, and they really bulldozed a lot of stuff, in part to make way for the bridge and all the connections that go over there. Also, Southwest Detroit, which is a mile away. I was talking to somebody yesterday. Business in Southwest Detroit, when the bridge opens, I don't know when, it's going to boom. And the houses in Southwest Detroit, who's a real estate? Sam's a real estate person. I don't know if he's selling houses in Southwest Detroit, but good luck. It's hard to buy them. And even north of Corktown, north of I-75, those houses are, and in part because of the bridge. Train station helped too, and there's some other things. There's some business around it. But that Gordie Howe Bridge, when it opens, it'll be huge. It'll be huge. But I don't know when. I think this summer. I'm not sure if it's a sinister plot though. Yes?
We have a question.
Do you ever talk to Charlie Ledoff?
I just saw him the other day. I saw him last week. So Charlie Ledoff, if you don't know Charlie Ledoff, former Detroit news writer, he was at my station. They let him go. Charlie's a great writer. Book about Detroit is fantastic. I highly recommend reading. It's very good. Charlie is kind of crazy. Charlie is also very smart. Charlie also does a lot of homework. And Charlie is by the way, he's a little different sometimes, depending on, but I like Charlie a lot. And yes, I just saw him last week. I was moderating the Republican governor's primary, well, it was a debate for the Republican candidates for governor. And the panelist was Charlie LaDuff. There's some other panelists there. And so I talked to him, I've known him. We talk every so often. I like Charlie LaDuff. Good guy, very good. Either complain. I want to see it. I know what the writers, and I have nothing against the writers. I'll read that too. But I want to see what the lawyers are putting out. That's important. LaDuff's doing fine. Yes.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday I watch you in the morning. And you eat a lot of food. You get a lot of food. Is that in your contract that you have to eat all the food? Is there any food you don't want?
Are you trying to say something that I'm trying to lose a couple pounds here? I think, and I started this, a couple after COVID, where we couldn't really do in-person shows. I knew that restaurants were going under, bars were going under, all the stuff that Gary's talking about, living life, whatever. People like to go out, nothing terrible about it. But I wanted to get restaurants on the show. And I wanted to highlight whatever it is they wanted to highlight. And I thought it was important because of local business. I try to stay away from the chains. Not that we don't have the chain restaurants every so often, but I wanted locals. Dearborn's got plenty of them. Oh my gosh, lots of them. Bakeries. How many bakeries do you have around here? This is fantastic. But I wanted to get them on. So the idea is we don't charge them anything, but they like to bring food. It's for a nice display. Now, as a selfish matter, we have to, they can't take it with them, so we get to eat. And the truth of the matter is, we do eat the food. I've been I'm not eating all of the food, and we share it. It's a rule we have, because we have a lot of staff on Saturday and Sunday, and we share the food. And on air, most of the food is good. Some of it is awful. But most of it's in that mid-range, and it's good stuff. Yes?
Charlie. There's so many scams going around out here, and how much are the authorities able to stop them or, just get on top of them? It seems like they always just go through and everybody just gets scammed if they get hit, but they don't really get any information to get their money back or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good question, very good question, because there are a lot of scams, especially with seniors. And unfortunately, we do get a lot. So here's the deal on these. Around holiday time, around maybe donation time, or then you get the one, I'm your grandson and I'm trapped. I need money now. Send it. So we do some of those. It's hard to pick out a particular case. We've done them. I think there's a good public service that if we can do it, it's good when the Attorney General or the prosecutor or the local city attorney brings a lawsuit, then we will cover that. Because then it relates to everybody. On an individual case, it's hard because, first of all, it's not great television. I can't show it a whole lot. I can do an interview with you, but I need a little bit more. So with the Attorney General bringing something, so that makes it a big case. We'll do those. And don't be scammed. I mean, you can call us. I don't know, we'll do a story, but we do get a lot of calls like that. And again, if it's something that's, a ring or something, yeah, we'll do a story on that. So I hope that answers your question. But they scam. Be careful. Seniors especially. Be careful. Yes.
Also, whether peace be achieved between Iran and the United States.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Will there be peace achieved between Iran and the United States?
15 years ago, I thought about running for Congress. I really did. But ask these guys. They know more than I know, the politicians. Will there be peace? Listen, I hope so, of course. I think there are some fundamental differences in culture, in politics, in history. And I think that we Americans probably have to know a little more history. If we get a chance, I'd like to do stories where there's historical issues. Why do we have a disagreement with Iran? Well, why do we? What about Lebanon? Oh my gosh, I mean, Sam, we talked about that the other day. I mean, there's you know, and there's real people here. It affects lives. So I think on our level, we want to focus on the life. You know, some of the network stuff can focus because they have access to Congress a little more than we do. It's really a congressional issue. Short answer, do I think there'll be peace? I think there'll be an end to the war, though. I do. I think there will be an end to this with Iran. Now, there's other aspects of the war, other countries involved, but I think we're going to get one. And we'll cover it, but that's a national story, probably. Yes, go ahead.
I understand there are scammers that when you have a house that's paid for, that they're tapping into your title, and from your house, the next thing is your title will be in their name. And I understand there's an app for it.
So, it's so nice to come to these events. The coffee is delicious. The bagels, okay. But I meet so many nice people here. And one person that I knew the name, Bernard Youngblood. Do you know him? Bernard Youngblood? Is there a Bernard Youngblood around here? Oh, there he is, right in the back. He's the Register of Deeds. He's been here for, hold on, say that again.
He's been here forever.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. So we were just talking about his take, scamming deeds. We just talked about this, and I want to do a show. What are you doing at 4 o'clock today? Be at Fox News? Can you do that? All right. And I, you know, being a lawyer, so if I want to, somehow they take the title, you own your own home. The scammers get your deed, somehow they get him to sign off, and you sell it to you. It's a scam. And it's a big scam. And so it's very prevalent. And he showed me a map of all in Wayne County where scams on deeds have come. I want to do a story on it. Because that's a good one. Because that affects a ton of people. We've got the leadership here. And again, education is you have to know a little tiny bit about what's a quitclaim deed? How do you register it? You know, you should. Is there a mortgage lien? How do you get rid of the mortgage? These scammers know that. They're smart people. They're not stupid people. Criminals are pretty smart, actually. Not all of them, some are real dumb. But many of them are very smart. And this deed stuff is smart. They're smart people. And so we're going to do a story on that. But the bottom line is, every so often just check your, you know, I don't know if you do a title search. I don't know if you need to do that. But just check to make sure that no one's looking around your house, scouting it out for a possible fake sale. If you get one, you've got to get a lawyer fast. You have to, because you've got to go to court. There's a procedure to undo it. But it's both criminal for sure, and it could affect your equity in your home and all kinds of problems. We're going to do a story on that. Great question. And there's the guy there's the guy.
Covering this in a few minutes. Let's hear it for Charlie, please. Should we bring him back next year? And we have a little surprise for Charlie. We're going to do this proclamation to present to Charlie.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Sam, tell him what this is.
It's all about Charlie and the good things that he has done and will continue to do.